California, rapper A$AP Rocky declines a plea deal on the eve of the start of his trial. The rapper, whose real name is Rakim Mayers, is charged with 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. The deal would have sent him to jail for 180 days, but he now faces up to 24 years in prison if he's convicted by a jury.
In and of itself does not mean that your client is guilty. That's the way we're going to deal with this, and that's the final ruling. I don't want to hear anything more about it. That's the end of the issue for now. Are both sides ready for the jury to come in?
OMG, you guys won't believe the drama that's unfolding. Our boy A$AP Rocky is in the midst of this absolutely insane trial, and poor Rihanna is just devastated. Word on the street is that Riri's been spotted looking completely heartbroken because there's a chance, and I can't even say this without getting emotional, that her man, the father of her precious babies, might miss their children's birthdays for the next 2 decades. Can you even imagine? Now, let me spill all the tea about this circus of a trial that just kicked off. You won't believe this, but the judge was literally flirting with Rocky's mom. And honey, that's just the beginning. The witnesses are dropping these absolutely shocking bombshells in court, and Rocky's legal team, they're playing chess while the prosecution is playing checkers, leaving them completely shook. But wait, here's where it gets even juicier. The prosecution tried to slide Rocky this deal. They wanted him to plead guilty to just 1 felony assault charge, take some anger management classes, do community service, and walk away with a suspended sentence. But guess what? Rocky said, "Thanks, but no thanks." And Chile, the internet is losing its collective mind. Some people are calling Rocky absolutely crazy for turning down what they're calling a sweetheart deal, while others are standing firm like, why should he plead guilty to something he didn't even do? And then there's this whole other group bringing up the Tory Lanez situation, saying if Tory got slapped with 10 years, Rocky better be worried. But is it really as bad as everyone's making it seem? And what's our girl Rihanna doing in all this mess? Let's dig into this piping hot tea. For those of you who haven't been keeping up with this scandalous situation, let me catch you up real quick. A$AP Rocky isn't just facing any old charges. He's on trial for allegedly pulling out a gun and shooting at A$AP Rocky, who, get this, is actually part of Rocky's own A$AP crew. The betrayal, the drama, it's almost too much.
How you doing this morning? How you feeling about the first day?
Thank you. Confident going into the case? Give us the room. Planning on taking a stand at all?
Now, you'd think this would be a simple open and shut case, right? Either Rocky did it or he didn't. But honey, let me tell you, this story has more twists and turns than your favorite soap opera, and the tea gets even hotter because people online are absolutely fuming, saying this whole case shouldn't even exist in the first place. Here's where it gets really messy. This whole nightmare started because A$AP Rocky and Rocky got into this heated argument over funeral expenses of all things. Rocky was convinced that Rocky, who's basically swimming in success, didn't step up to help with the funeral arrangements for one of their fallen crew members. And let me give you the background tea. Before Rocky became the fashion-forward, Rihanna-dating superstar we all know and love, he was part of this incredible collective called the A$AP Mob. This group, darling, was formed back in 2006 in Harlem. And it wasn't just rappers. We're talking about this whole creative powerhouse of record producers, music video directors, and fashion designers. The way you could spot them? They all had that A$AP in their names. A$AP Rocky, A$AP Ferg, A$AP 12E, A$AP Rocky. You get the picture. Since Rocky clearly became the breakout star and, let's be real, probably the wealthiest of the bunch, he kind of became the face of the whole operation. And with that came expectations, honey. The other members were looking at Rocky to step up and take care of certain things for the crew. So when one of their own passed away in 2021, everyone was expecting Rocky to handle those funeral expenses. But according to Rocky completely switched up on them and didn't come through with the money. Can you believe? Relly, feeling all kinds of ways about this, decided to confront Rocky right there on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. How dramatic. Things got heated, and then, this is where it gets absolutely wild. Rocky allegedly pulled out a gun. And this isn't just hearsay, because there's actual CCTV footage showing parts of this whole mess. The footage shows them getting physical, someone jumping in to break it up, and then Rocky pulling out this gun. But then, he puts it away. The drama. But wait, because this tea is still piping hot. According to Relly, things didn't end there. He claims Rocky pulled that gun out again and actually fired at him. Relly says one of the bullets grazed his knuckles. Can you imagine? But here's where things get super suspicious. Relly claims he eventually got medical attention when he flew back to LA. But get this, he didn't report this to the police until days later. Like, excuse me? If someone shoots at you and actually hits you, wouldn't you run straight to the police or at least the hospital? The fact that he waited days to do either is making everyone raise their eyebrows. And Rocky's legal team is all over this detail like white on rice, using it to prove their point that this whole thing is fabricated. The best video evidence we have is so grainy it might as well be filmed on a potato. It doesn't show the whole incident at all. So basically, this whole case is turning into a classic he said situation, with everyone having to rely on witness testimonies. And honey, let me tell you, the prosecution's star witness, ASAP Relly, is not exactly winning anyone over. Rocky's fans online are absolutely convinced that Relly is just a jealous friend trying to bring Rocky down, and they're calling him something even worse, a snitch. I mean, the fact that he had beef with another ASAP mob member and instead of handling it privately, he went running to the police. The fans are saying that's major rat behavior. Rocky's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, is serving Major T in court too. During his opening statement, he straight up said, "This case is about one man's jealousy, which lies in greed. This case is all about money, a clear attempt at extortion, period. End of story. But hold on to your wigs, because that's not even close to the messiest part of this whole situation." The trial kicked off on January 24th, and the jury selection has already got people absolutely fuming. They picked 7 women and 5 men, but here's the gag, not a single one of them is black. People online are losing it, and rightfully so. Like both Rocky and Relly are black, this is happening in Los Angeles of all places, and they couldn't find one black person for the jury? Make it make sense. Even the legendary Reverend Al Sharpton had to step in and speak his truth about this mess. He said he's been keeping close tabs on Rocky's situation, and while he might not know all the nitty-gritty details, he knows one thing for sure. Rocky deserves a fair trial with a jury of his actual peers, as is his constitutional right. He called the whole thing absolutely ridiculous and pointed out how suspicious it is that in a city like Los Angeles, with such a significant black population, they couldn't find a single black person in the first 30 jury candidates. The math ain't mathing, honey. But wait, because this tea gets even more scalding. The police investigation is another whole mess in itself. When Relly finally reported the incident, the police went to investigate the scene, but they couldn't find a single trace that any shooting had happened there. No shell casings, nothing. But here's where it gets wild. Relly allegedly went back to the scene after the trained investigators had already searched it, and wouldn't you know it, he magically found some shell casings. Like, are we supposed to believe that the trained professionals missed something that Relly just happened to stumble upon? Chilly, please. What's really got everyone scratching their heads is Rocky turning down that plea deal. He's facing 2 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, which could land him in prison for up to 24 years. The prosecutors offered him what seemed like a sweet deal: plead guilty to 1 felony count, get a 6-month jail term with a 7-year suspended sentence, 3 years probation, 500 hours of community service, and some anger management classes.
ASAP, you a little nervous about this? How you feeling about the jury selection today?
Our cameras caught ASAP Rocky this morning headed into and leaving an LA court as jury selection began in his felony trial. The 36-year-old, who faces 24 years in prison if convicted, has pleaded not guilty, and today he rejected a plea deal offer of 180 days in jail, saying, quote, "I respectfully decline."
You concerned about rejecting the plea deal?
Now, a lot of people think Rocky must have lost his mind turning down this deal. I mean, compared to 24 years behind bars, it sounds pretty good, right? Plus, he wouldn't even have to serve any actual jail time as long as he stays out of trouble. But some fans are actually applauding Rocky for standing his ground. First of all, if he's really innocent like he says, why should he plead guilty to anything? But there's more tea. Apparently, this deal would have completely destroyed Rocky's career. Someone close to Rocky spilled to TMZ that taking this plea would effectively end his career because he'd lose all those juicy endorsement deals with Gucci, Puma, the Met Gala invites, everything. The source added that they'd have Rocky under their thumb for over 8 years. Plus, that felony charge would be permanently on his record. So yeah, compared to 24 years, it might seem like a good deal. But if there's even a tiny chance he could walk away from all this with a clean slate, can you blame him for taking his chances? And from what we're seeing in court so far, things might actually be working in Rocky's favor. But honey, buckle up, because here comes the biggest plot twist yet. Rocky's defense team is now claiming there wasn't even a real gun involved. They're saying it was just a prop gun that Rocky bought to scare off attackers after he'd been stalked and attacked before. According to his lawyer, Rocky fired this starter gun twice just to scare Relly away and protect his friend Ills, who was there during the fight. But the prosecutors aren't buying it. They're insisting Rocky used a 9mm semi-automatic pistol. They even played this dramatic 911 call from some woman who says she saw the whole thing, and they showed pictures of what they think Rocky fired. But here's the tea. When the police raided Rocky's house after arresting him, they found some guns, but they were all registered. That mysterious 9mm semi was nowhere to be found. The prosecution tried to shock everyone by pulling out this ballistics report they claim proves Rocky fired a real gun at Relly. Rocky's legal team was not having it, saying the prosecution blindsided them with this information. But the judge? Chilly, they dropped another bombshell, giving Rocky's team just 1 day to review this ballistics report. the court will pay for it. But basically, the judge is saying this last-minute tea isn't going to slow down this trial. Now some people are looking at this whole situation side by side with the Tory Lanez case, and they're getting nervous. Tory got hit with 10 years after being convicted of 3 felonies. Assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. This was after he allegedly shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. At first, it looked like Tory might get off easy. He had his minions running this smear campaign against Megan, and he was playing up this whole God-fearing devoted father angle. But it all backfired spectacularly, and now he's serving a decade behind bars. But let's be real, these cases are different in so many ways. First off, Tory shot a famous woman, while Rocky allegedly shot a less-known member of his crew. The evidence against Tory was rock solid, and the media turned on him hard after his nasty campaign against Megan became obvious. But with Rocky, the evidence is shakier than a leaf in the wind, and he's got this whole fashion-forward image going for him. Plus, he's married to literal billionaire superstar Rihanna. Sure, he's had some run-ins with the law before, but his PR team works overtime to keep his image squeaky clean. Rocky isn't really associated with violence or gang activity. The media absolutely adores him. Even the judge is clearly a fan, even though they're trying to play it cool with the whole "you won't get special treatment" thing. But then they're out here openly flirting with Rocky's mom in court. The mess of it all.
The judge thinks your mom is gorgeous.
She is. Hey, Rocky, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you.
Now, about our girl Rihanna, sources are saying she's really struggling with this whole situation. Even though she and Rocky are trying to put on a brave face, Riri's been feeling the pressure since day one. Back in 2022, when she was heavily pregnant, they got ambushed at the airport over this case. They were just coming back from a nice vacation in Barbados when LA police stopped them and arrested Rocky right there. The whole thing was incredibly stressful for Rihanna. Sources say she was having anxiety attacks and was terrified the stress might trigger early labor. Thank goodness that didn't happen, but can you imagine trying to handle this trial while working and taking care of kids? The pressure must be absolutely insane. The judge is allowing cameras in the courtroom, so we're all going to get front row seats to every single messy moment of this trial. The drama is just getting started, and I cannot wait to see how this all plays out. Do you think Rocky's being set up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our next video for more piping hot tea. For more piping hot tea.